Right. I think we're on. Man, I've put this off for way too long. And we always think we're doing good, and then we get a real reality check. So I'm doing this. I'm going full time me. Full time my stuff. Full time my dreams. Now, there's other responsibilities that people can't ignore, families, children, bills, that's fine. I'm positioning myself or have been positioning myself, I feel like, for the last 12 years, for this moment, where I just say, fuck it. And that's, I want to call this podcast, I want to call this thing that I'm doing, fuck it, but I don't think people will respond to it as much if I call it a curse word. But I think the simple fact is that everything I've done, every decision I've made, they've all come to this kind of point where it all makes sense, right? Now, the aspects of what got me here, kind of pretty obvious. Hurt my shoulder nearly 2 months ago now. Semi-dislocated all the time. Gonna get it fixed. There's legal stuff and other stuff in the background I don't really want to talk about, which is fine. But the main point is that it's kind of like now or never. And I've always struggled with content. I've always struggled with kind of doing this because I just haven't done it. That's my gap. There's no excuse. I can talk to thousands of people in a room, no problem, right? I've done enough examples of what I can do, but I'm just not doing it right. And that's what I'm here today doing. So this is my daybed. This is where I live. This is part of where I live. And I'm just gonna start making this a professional thing. I'm gonna start putting effort into this kind of content idea I have, because for years I always bounced around on the idea of what am I gonna talk about? And I was like, I want to be the motivation guy. That's great. There's heaps of them. I want to be the business guy. There's heaps of them too. And I just kept going, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And I want to talk about what I've done. Because that's all people want to know about. People, I think the social media world is so drowned with, this is what you have to do. This is what you got to do. This is where you have to do it and how you have to do it. How many of us are talking about the shit we've done? And that's where I'm at. I'm saying, fuck it. I got family on here and I got plenty of people out there that are gonna ask me, why are you exposing yourself? Why are you ripping open this wound of your life? Because I can. And I should. And if me wearing nose tape and glasses and trying to do things a little bit differently is how I have to do it for me, then that's what I do, right? So I'm obviously, this is the 3-minute version will be on Instagram, but the longer version will be on my YouTube. Today's video is about confessions. And I've been wrestling with this for a few weeks now, because I'm like, do I break it up into like different ones, or I just smash it all out in one go? I think smashing it out in one go is how you should do it, right? So, where do you start? And I think for me, you know, I've been my biggest fan for so long. It's kind of hard to find out where it started. What made me today? So the confessions are, I've been robbed, I've been stolen from, I've been sued, gone bankrupt, I've started 5 businesses that didn't work. Multiple things I should have finished and didn't finish. And I'm now at this point where I'm like, that's got to change. I've finished a lot in my life and achieved a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've done a lot. I've gotten masters in, you know, boating. I've done a lot in the fishing industry. I've done a lot in, you know, back in the day in church. You know, I've done a lot in my life. I've traveled and seen and done so much. But I think that the object of these videos is for people to understand how real it gets. There is no perfect answer. And I've never been handed one. I've always had to find it. And what I find is that all these things that happen to me, they work out to be something for me down the line. And, you know, there's not a lot of people that will expose themselves like this. But I feel like this whole injury thing has kind of pushed me over the edge where I need to go, people need to know how much I've fucking done. You know, I've had golden staph infections. I've been held on a boat for multiple days. I've gone to sea in hurricanes and tornadoes, or cyclones is what we call them here. I've done crazy things. Swam with sharks, you know. But now I'm in this point where it's like, I've done all this stuff, and what do I convert that to? And like, you kind of like talk about it, we talk about it in business, you know, what's the conversion rate of all this stuff that's happened? Is that converting into something that's going to ROI, which is return on investment? And for me, I've now got this chance to do that. And so the ROI, all the shit I've done makes sense now. So yeah, I'm not going to make the videos too long. I'm really going to focus on good content, and they're going to be this. I'm going to be putting myself in front of the camera with a microphone here, somewhere else, and we're going to start engaging. Because at the end of the day, posting shirtless photos and abs and muscles and all that is great, right? But people want to know, how'd you get here? I live an amazing life. I've lived a good life. And there's so much to unpack that, you know, we haven't even gone into the deeper side of it. And like, the deeper side of it doesn't need to be talked about right now. It's kind of like, let's just get real about this, because for so many years I was told you need to not wear your heart in your sleeve. You need to be careful what you tell people. I had one person say to me, I shouldn't tell people about my bankruptcy. It's embarrassing. And what I found is when people tell me not to do things, they're usually wrong. And that is, it's not an ego thing. It's just it's just the fucking truth. When people tell you to run, you should walk. When people tell you to run or walk, you should run. And for so many years, I believed I had to hide all the shit I've gone through. And now I just need to be honest about it, because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. Now I've got thousands of hours of stories. And, you know, it's like, well, what is Jack doing? Well, it's like, you know, Jack is doing Jack. Now, if that's getting fit, running a business and doing content, that's fine. right? And for a lot of years, I tried to do too many things at once. And I understand that now. You know, I've reined it in the last year and a half and really focused my energy down to core values, core things, and core beliefs, right? And a lot of people get worried about getting in front of a camera because they feel like they're going to embarrass themselves. But what I'm excited for is I've got the time to do this every day now. I've got the time to plan out videos. And, you know, what I do and talk about is my stuff. Am I doing this to monetize it? No. I don't need the money. But for me, I've always wanted to help people. And I've done that all my life. Just tried to help. And for me, I feel like this is how I help people. I explain to them that, you know, I have nothing, right? I have no house. I have 2 cars. They're both probably together worth half a Porsche. I don't have a lot of money. I have some money. You know, I'm not a millionaire, not yet. And that's another video. We'll talk about that stuff. But you need to kind of go like, and it's taken me 12 years to get here. Not 2 months, 12 years of going, right, fuck it, let's do this. And I've done them before, you know, I tried to, you know, and it's not about that. It's, you know, I'm just here to tell my story, you know, so that my son and my future children will go, you know, I'm proud of him. And that's all it comes down to. And like, I'm not doing this for anyone else, really, but myself. And on top of that, my family. Because what I've discovered is that some of the bravest, strongest people I know are hidden away. And it's not fair. So, I don't know what I'm going to call this yet, but I'm just going to start posting. So, today's day 1. There's no expectations on day 1. We turn up. That's all we do. As long as you turn up, you've won. And people look for achievements in these kind of things, and I would like to reiterate that my qualifications stand as this. I was bullied most of my life, overcome that. I was brought into a group, and I'm not going to name names, and when I was, you know, trying to be a missionary and trying to go out in the world and trying to be a good Christian, and that all fell apart. And that was a big hole in my life. Then I went to sea. I spent half of my working life at the moment on a boat. Nowhere near as much as some of the people I know, but you know, I was doing 30 days at sea and then a week off. Did that for close to 8 to 12 years. So for me, that's only a few things, but we'll keep going down up the list. I went bankrupt in 2023. Had a good business, tried to grow it too quickly. I was playing in a big pond with big fish, and you know, in that time as well, I got robbed twice. So yeah, it's just I was worried for so long about what qualifies me to talk, and these do. I've started 5 businesses, all with different ideas, and they've worked or they've not worked, or they've, you know, come to a grinding halt, or I've kind of forgotten them, and now it's kind of all compacted down to this nuclear core of like, this is what qualifies me. I work and grind. I'm the hardest worker I know. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, you know, I do 12-hour days. I do 24-hour days. I wish I turned off. I wish I did less, but that's not me. And for a long, long time, I just headed away how much I did, and no more. Now I'm getting public about it, and now I've got the time to put this energy that I had into all these jobs I've had and all these careers. It's kind of go, well, why don't I put that in my fitness? Why don't I try and be something in the fitness world? Because I've been doing fitness for a while, even though I'm not perfect. You know, I am fairly fit, fairly flexible, fairly healthy for my age, which is crazy. So yeah, this video is called Confessions, and I encourage everyone to make their own confession video. Don't have to post it. This is me doing it for you so that you understand what has to be done sometimes. You have to get raw with yourself. And I post a lot about David Goggins. I post a lot about other stuff. I am not that. And I'm not David Goggins. I'm Borthwick. And people call me different nicknames, but I'm really understanding what David Goggins is trying to do. I've read his books multiple times, and I'm kind of dissecting my own life and dissecting me and going, I'm Borthwick. I'm me. Now, the version of me that I was, you know, or have been growing into is changing. Now I feel like we're in not the final stages. I'll never believe there's a final stage. I think we're just in the next level up. It's like, you know, where does this lead? So we're going to do this as much as I can. Long form will be on YouTube, short form will be on Instagram and Facebook. I'm just going to get honest about it. And if people don't like it, if people are uncomfortable about it, and I know for a fact that the people that have burned me, I've burned, had issues with, everything, they're watching this right now. And I'd like to say to you that getting to know me during this process of how long it takes, 30, 40, who knows how long I'll be doing this for, you're going to learn a lot about why I do what I do. And I think at the end of the day, I've always learned that if you can accept your mistakes and own them, be like, yeah, I did that. What more can I give you? You've got everything. You know, I have never once chosen to burn someone so bad or break anyone to the point where, you know, they're just destroyed. You know, everyone has a past. And if we can't talk about it, then we're not gonna grow. So for me, I know it's gonna come from this, and I'm ready for it. So this is video 1. Have a great day, and remember, fuck it.